Two cars sat in the driveway under July sun. One, a gleaming Tesla Model X in midnight blue, fresh from the dealership with protective film still on the door handles. The other, a 2007 Toyota Camry in faded silver, with a passenger side door that required exactly the right combination of lift and pull to open, a technique I'd perfected over 8 years and 140,000 miles. The contrast wasn't subtle. The Tesla's paint reflected clouds like liquid glass. My Camry's clear coat had given up 3 years ago, leaving patches of oxidized silver that looked like vitiligo. Both vehicles sat on the same cracked concrete driveway in suburban Phoenix, separated by 12 feet and approximately $85,000 in market value. My sister Daisha stood between them, phone in hand, filming for her Instagram story, practicing her surprised face even though she'd known about the Tesla delivery for 3 weeks. I was the one who'd actually been surprised to get her text this morning at 6:47 a.m. Tesla arrives at 10. Come over. Big moment. Surprised because we hadn't spoken in 2 months, not since Easter dinner, when she'd joked that my promotion must have come with a massive pay bump of maybe $5,000, while making air quotes with her perfectly manicured fingers. Surprised because Daisha never invited me to things unless she needed something. But I'd come anyway, because that's what you do when you're someone's sister, even when that someone has spent the last decade treating you like a cautionary tale about the dangers of choosing purpose over profit. My name is Kelly Landrum, and I'm an FBI Supervisory Special Agent in the Financial Crimes Section. I've worked for the Bureau for 16 years, starting as a field agent in the Dallas office, then transferring to Phoenix, working my way up through bank fraud, mortgage fraud, and eventually into a supervisory role overseeing major financial investigations across the Southwest region. Daisha is my younger sister by 3 years. She's a pharmaceutical sales representative who makes excellent money selling to oncology practices, drives luxury vehicles on lease arrangements she doesn't fully understand, and has built an Instagram presence around the aesthetic of success. Expensive restaurants, designer handbags, and the kind of lifestyle content that makes her 47,000 followers believe she's living a dream life. What those followers don't see, the credit card debt, the underwater car leases, the apartment she can barely afford, the constant stress of maintaining appearances. What my family doesn't know, I own 3 rental properties in Phoenix purchased during the 2010 to 2012 foreclosure crisis, all currently occupied, all generating positive cash flow. I own my Camry outright. I own my townhouse outright. I have 0 debt and a 7-figure investment portfolio built through 15 years of aggressive saving and strategic real estate acquisition. But I've never corrected anyone's assumptions about my finances, because in my line of work, keeping a low profile is both operational security and personal safety. Financial crimes agents make enemies, people who've lost money, people facing prison time, organized fraud rings with long memories. The less people know about my assets, the better. Even family. Especially family, actually, given Daisha's tendency to share everything on social media. The pattern of underestimation started early. When I joined the FBI at 24, fresh from an accounting degree and CPA certification, Daisha had just started her pharmaceutical sales job. At Thanksgiving that year, she'd announced her starting salary, $75,000 base plus commission, and our parents had reacted like she'd won the lottery. "That's wonderful," our mother had gushed. "Kelly, isn't that wonderful?" "It's great," I'd agreed, not mentioning that my FBI starting salary was $61,000, which seemed modest by comparison but came with federal benefits, pension contributions, and job security that Daisha's commission-based position didn't offer. "You should have gone into sales," Daisha had said, squeezing my hand sympathetically. "You're good with numbers. You could have made real money." I'd smiled and changed the subject. By the time I made GS13, Daisha was leasing her first luxury car, a BMW 3 Series she couldn't quite afford but looked fantastic in Instagram photos. She'd posted a picture of us standing next to our cars at a family barbecue, captioning it, "Sisters, we all make different choices." The implied judgment was clear. She'd made better choices. When I bought my first rental property, a foreclosed house in Tempe that I got for $87,000 and immediately rented for $1,200 a month, Daisha bought an expensive handbag and posted about treating yourself because you deserve it. When I bought my second property, Daisha got engaged to a guy named Brandon, who sold timeshares and drove a Maserati on a 7-year loan. The engagement lasted 8 months. The Maserati lasted until the repo man found it. When I bought my third property, Daisha started dating a doctor. She posted constantly about restaurant meals that cost more than my monthly grocery budget, designer dresses for events she attended as his +1 weekend trips to San Diego and Vegas. Our mother would call me after seeing these posts. Isn't it wonderful that Daisha found someone successful? She really deserves happiness. The implication being that I, with my Toyota Camry and my unglamorous federal job, had somehow failed to achieve the same level of deserving. I never corrected her, never explained that my rental properties were generating $40,000 annually in net income, never mentioned that my investment accounts were approaching $800,000 thanks to maxing out my TSP contributions since day one and investing aggressively during the 2008 crash. Because that wasn't the story they wanted to hear. They wanted Daisha to be the successful one, the one who'd figured it out, the one who proved that choosing money over meaning was the smart path. And I'd learned that letting people believe what they want to believe is often easier than fighting to change their minds. The Tesla delivery became a neighborhood event. Daisha had apparently told everyone on the street about it, because by 10:15 a.m., when the delivery truck pulled up, there were at least a dozen people standing in driveways and on sidewalks, watching like this was a parade. Mrs. Chen from next door, the Henderson family from across the street, Mike Torres, who lived 3 houses down and always waved when I visited. Even old Mr. Patel had come out with his walker to witness the occasion. Daisha was vibrating with excitement, filming everything, narrating for her Instagram. "It's here! Oh my God, it's actually here! This is the biggest purchase of my life and I'm so grateful and blessed." The delivery specialist, a young guy in a Tesla polo shirt, unloaded the car, walked Daisha through the features, handed her the key fob cards. She squealed appropriately, hugged him, took 17 photos of herself with the car from different angles. Then she looked at me. "Kelly! Come take pictures with me?" I walked over, knowing this was performative, knowing she wanted the contrast, successful sister with Tesla, struggling sister, as supporting cast. We posed. She posted. The neighbors applauded politely. "Okay, but seriously." Mrs. Henderson called out, "What do you drive, Kelly?" "I always see you in that silver car, but I've never really looked at it." Before I could answer, Daisha lit up. This was her moment, the one she'd been planning without realizing I knew she'd been planning it. She hit the key fob with theatrical flourish. "Watch this, doors open themselves." The Tesla's falcon wing doors rose smoothly, dramatically, like something from a science fiction movie. The gathered neighbors made appropriately impressed sounds. Then Daisha turned and pointed at my Camry. "Hers? You have to jiggle the handle and pray." She walked over to demonstrate, grabbing the passenger door handle and yanking ineffectively, making it look more stuck than it actually was. "See? It's like a puzzle. You pull here, then push there, then maybe it opens, maybe it doesn't. It's a whole thing." The neighbors laughed. Not cruelly, exactly, but definitely laughing at the contrast, at the absurdity of my mechanical struggle compared to Daisha's electric automation. I stood there with the keys still in my hand, feeling that familiar sensation, the knowledge that I could correct this narrative with 3 sentences, that I could explain exactly why I drove a paid-off Camry instead of a leased luxury vehicle. But operational security whispered its familiar warnings. Keep your assets private, maintain low profile, don't paint a target. So I smiled and started to say something deflecting, something about how the Camry was reliable and got good gas mileage. And then a voice cut through the laughter. "Kelly! Kelly Landrum!" Everyone turned. A man was walking up the driveway, mid-40s, dressed in business casual, carrying a leather portfolio. He looked vaguely familiar, but I couldn't immediately place him. Then I saw the logo on his polo shirt, Desert Trust Mortgage. "Oh no. I thought that was you." He was grinning, extending his hand. "Brian Keller. I handled your last property closing, the triplex on Southern?" I shook his hand automatically, my brain racing through rapid damage control calculations. Hi, Brian. I didn't know you lived in this neighborhood? Or, wait, do you live here? He looked at Daisha. Are you two related? Sisters, Daisha said, her excited energy dimming slightly, confused by this interruption to her moment. No kidding. Brian was one of those aggressively friendly people who didn't read social cues well. That's great. Hey, congratulations on paying off your third property. My wife keeps asking how you did it by 40. She's convinced you have some secret investment strategy we should be copying. The driveway went very quiet. The kind of quiet that happens when everyone is simultaneously trying to process information that doesn't match their existing understanding of reality. Daisha's smile had frozen on her face, not quite reaching confusion yet, still stuck in the moment before comprehension. Third property? Mrs. Henderson asked, because someone had to ask. Yeah! Brian was oblivious to the shifting energy, still operating on mortgage broker enthusiasm. We've worked together on all three. First one was that foreclosure in Tempe back in 2011. Man, that was a steal. Then the duplex in Mesa in 2014. And just last month, the triplex. All paid off now. That's some serious real estate portfolio. Paid off? Daisha's voice came out strange, strangled. Cash purchases, Brian confirmed proudly like he'd had something to do with it, while the triplex had a small mortgage, but Kelly paid it off in like 18 months. Aggressive strategy, but it worked out great. You must be saving a fortune on interest. Daisha was staring at me now, really staring, her expression cycling through confusion, disbelief, and something that might have been betrayal. 3 rental properties, she said slowly. You own 3 rental properties. 4, actually. I corrected quietly, knowing the truth was coming out anyway. Might as well be accurate. I bought a 4th one 2 years ago. Small house in Chandler. Brian didn't handle that one. The silence intensified. If silence could gain density, could become a physical presence, this silence was approaching neutron star levels. Mike Torres spoke up. Wait. You're a real estate investor? Not really. I just bought some properties during the crash and rented them out. 4 properties. Daisha's Instagram smile had completely evaporated. You own 4 rental properties. Yes. But you drive that. She pointed at my Camry like it was evidence in a trial. You drive a 12-year-old Toyota with a broken door handle. 16-year-old. And the handle's not broken, it just requires technique. You let me think. She stopped, started again. You let us all think you were struggling, that you were barely making it on your government salary. I never said I was struggling. You assumed I was struggling. Brian was finally picking up on the tension. Oh man, should I not have said anything? Daisha's hand, the one still holding her Tesla key fob, was shaking now. Why? Why? What? Why would you hide this? Why would you let everyone think you were unsuccessful? Why would you come here and let me? She gestured at the Tesla, at the gathered neighbors, at the whole performance she'd orchestrated. Do you know how this makes me look? Like someone who bought a nice car, I said carefully. You should look however you want to look. My finances don't change yours. But you've been acting like I was the successful one, like I had it figured out and you didn't. I never acted like anything. You created that narrative. I just didn't argue with it. Mrs. Henderson was looking at me with new respect. 4 rental properties. That's impressive. And all paid off by 40, Brian added helpfully. That's real financial discipline. Daisha made a sound that wasn't quite a laugh. Financial discipline. Right. While I'm over here with maxed out credit cards and a car lease I can barely afford, you've been secretly building a real estate empire. Quote, it's not an empire, it's 4 houses. 4 houses you own, outright, while driving that piece of shit Toyota and letting everyone pity you for your sad government job. Nobody pitied me. I pitied you, her voice cracked. I felt sorry for you. I posted about sisters making different choices because I thought I'd made better choices. I thought you'd given up money for some noble cause that didn't pay anything. And this whole time you've been, what, laughing at me? I've never laughed at you. Then what? What have you been doing? I looked at my sister, successful, beautiful Daisha, with her Instagram following and her Tesla and her desperate need to prove she'd made the right choices, and felt something shift. Not anger, not satisfaction, just exhaustion. I've been living below my means, I said quietly, saving aggressively, investing strategically, building financial security without broadcasting it. That's what I've been doing. Why? Because I work in financial crimes. Because keeping a low profile is literally part of my job security. Because I've seen what happens when people in my position flash wealth. They become targets for the same criminals they're investigating. So you let your own family think you were failing? I let you believe what you wanted to believe. There's a difference. The Tesla's Falcon doors were still open, an absurd backdrop to this conversation, like wings spread on a very expensive bird that couldn't fly anywhere meaningful. Mr. Patel spoke up from his position with the walker. I think your sister is very smart. Paid off properties, that's real wealth. That car, he gestured at the Tesla, that's just expensive. Daisha's face flushed red. You don't understand. This is humiliating. Why? I asked genuinely. You bought a car you wanted. That's good. You should enjoy it. My financial situation doesn't diminish yours. It does, though. Because I've been posting about success and adulting and making good choices, and you've been sitting back knowing that I'm actually drowning in debt while you're sitting on real estate, worth probably. She stopped. How much are they worth? That's private. Ballpark. Daisha. Ballpark. I calculated quickly. Combined value. Probably around $950,000. I own nothing on them. They generate about $40,000 annually in net rental income after expenses. The number hung in the desert heat. Mike Torres whistled low. That's a hell of a side hustle. It's not a side hustle, I said. It's a long-term investment strategy that required 15 years of discipline and delayed gratification. Daisha had gone from red to pale. How much do you make at the FBI? Base salary as a supervisory special agent is around $140,000. With overtime and locality pay, total compensation is closer to $160,000. So you make twice what I make, own 4 properties, and drive a broken Toyota. The Toyota isn't broken. And yes, while I make $80,000, own nothing, have $45,000 in credit card debt, and just leased a $97,000 car I can't actually afford. The admission came out broken, raw. Several neighbors looked away, suddenly very interested in their lawns. Brian Keller was edging toward his car. I should probably go. Kelly, great seeing you. Daisha, congratulations on the Tesla, it's a beautiful car. He fled. The remaining neighbors began dispersing too, sensing this had become something private that shouldn't be witnessed by an audience. When they were gone, it was just Daisha and me and 2 cars in the driveway, one representing everything she'd wanted everyone to believe she'd achieved, one representing everything I'd actually achieved without wanting anyone to know. Why didn't you tell me? Daisha asked finally. Her voice had lost its edge, just sounded tired now. Why did you let me make a fool of myself? I didn't let you do anything. You made your own choices. I just didn't interfere. But I'm your sister. You should have what? Told you that your lifestyle was unsustainable? Criticized your spending? Made you feel small? Yes, maybe. Better than letting me find out like this, in front of the entire neighborhood. You're the one who made this a public event, I reminded her gently. You invited everyone to witness your success. I was just trying to be supportive. She looked at the Tesla, then at my Camry, then back at me. How do you do it? How did you save that much? Quote, I lived in a studio apartment for 8 years. I drove used cars. I brought lunch to work every day. I didn't buy designer anything. I maxed out my retirement contributions. I bought properties when everyone else was afraid to, and I rented them out. It's not magic, it's just math and discipline. And loneliness? The question surprised me. What? You're 40 years old, Kelly. You live alone. You drive a car that's falling apart. You don't go on vacations or buy nice things or do anything that looks like you're actually enjoying your life. Is it really worth it? all that money for what? I thought about the question, about my townhouse that I owned outright, my retirement accounts, my rental properties generating passive income. About the freedom of having no debt, no financial stress, no desperate scrambling to maintain appearances. Yes, I said simply, it's worth it, because I sleep well at night. Because I don't worry about losing my job or the economy crashing or any emergency that might come up. Because I have options, real options, not just the appearance of options. But you're alone. So are you, I pointed out. You just have a nicer car to be alone in. She flinched, then surprisingly laughed, a short, bitter sound. God, we're both disasters, aren't we? Just in completely different ways. Maybe, or maybe we're both fine, just with different priorities. Daisha ran her hand along the Tesla's hood, the paint warm from the sun. I really can't afford this car. I know. You knew before I did. I know how much you make. I know what leases cost. I can do math. So what do I do? That's up to you. But if you want advice, real advice, not sisterly politeness, I'd say return it. Eat the fees. Get something sensible. Pay down your credit cards. Stop performing success on Instagram and start actually building it. That's brutal. That's honest. She was quiet for a long moment. Will you help me? With the financial stuff. I don't know how to do what you do. Of course. Even after I made fun of your car in front of everyone. Especially after that. Because you're my sister, and sisters help each other. Even when they're idiots. I'm an idiot. Currently, but that's fixable. She laughed again, more genuine this time. Can I ask you one more thing? Sure. Why did you really come today? You knew I was going to show off. You knew it would be awkward. Why did you show up? I looked at my sister, beautiful, struggling, desperate Daisha, who'd built her entire identity around appearing successful while slowly drowning in debt, and felt that familiar mix of frustration and love that defines most sibling relationships. Because you're my sister, I said, and because I hoped that maybe someday we'd get to a place where we could be honest with each other. Where you didn't need to perform, and I didn't need to hide. I just didn't expect it to happen today, in front of the neighbors. Triggered by an enthusiastic mortgage broker. Brian Keller, dream crusher. Brian Keller, truth teller. Daisha looked at the Tesla one more time, then at my Camry. Your car really does have a stuck door, though. That's not me exaggerating. I know, I should fix it, but it works if you know the technique. Show me. I walked to the passenger side and demonstrated, lift slightly while pulling, just the right angle. The door opened smoothly. Huh, Daisha said. That's actually kind of clever, like a secret handshake between you and your car. Exactly. My Tesla opens with a key fob. I know. It's very impressive. But I can't afford it. No. But it's really pretty. It is. Fuck. Yeah. We stood there in the driveway as the Arizona sun climbed toward noon, two sisters and two cars, finally starting to understand each other after years of performance and assumption and carefully maintained misconceptions. The Tesla would be gone by the end of the month. Daisha would return to a more modest vehicle and start the long process of rebuilding her finances. But today, in this moment, we were just two women who'd spent too long pretending to be people we weren't, her pretending to have more, me pretending to have less. And now, finally, we could stop pretending. My Camry's door might stick, but at least I owned it.